What is going on there, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, everybody in between? We have a lot to talk about today, and by a lot, I mean a lot of condensed topics that, honestly, they all pale in comparison to the man on my left. Subtle fraudulence. This should be the main event. This should be the spectacle right here, actually, to be fairly honest with you. This right here is what we need to spend the next 45 minutes talking about. This human being's greatness. That's what we should talk about. How you doing, man? You doing all right?
Yeah.
You ready for another episode of Clout.WAV? You good?
Nah, I'm not ready. I'm not ready for anything anymore.
You heard everybody. It's time for me to go ahead and hit the X button. Yeah, we'll see you guys next week.
I mean, haven't you heard? Gas prices are going up. The left is trying to ruin everything for you. Destiny is banned.
Look, I'm not going to lie. If we had to commute for this podcast, I don't think it would work out, bro.
Go well.
Hey, have you seen those gas prices, bro?
Yeah, they're pretty bad. Just in time for me to head back to
I spent $85 at the pump, bro.
Yo,
$85, bro.
Where are you going throughout the week that you gotta use the whole tank? Is it just your day-to-day like going to work thing, or like are you taking some road trips?
No, here's the thing. I was negligent, and I normally do it every week when I get to about half, but I was like on day 15, and I was like, nah, we gotta put this whole thing back together. But people were saying this is their weekly thing. I'm like, what you drive, a H1 Hummer?
That's what I'm saying. Like, people will post, pictures like, oh, I just spent $100 at the pump today. It's like, where are you going throughout the week? Because I spent $20 and I'm still fine right now because I'm not going all over the place when gas prices are insane.
It's like, bro, how far is your commute? Like, do you that's one thing if you work in LA and you don't live in LA.
Yeah.
So you stuck there on the grid. It's like, nah, at that point, just take an Uber, bro. Just take an Uber. You don't need to drive. That's foolishness. Look, I'll tell you right now.
That'll cost worse.
I mean, it might. It depends. I remember when I got robbed my first time going to Anime Expo at LA, when I landed at LAX, you see, I tried to get an Uber, and everybody's Uber was coming. It was everybody. Too many people were ordering Ubers. So I could never get one. And then the first one I actually got to go through gets canceled. They canceled it. I don't know. Maybe they saw a black dude and they said, nah, I ain't letting no Negroid Prime in my fucking vehicle. That happened to us, by the way. I'm convinced that you weren't there. This is when we were at Otakon up there in DC. Because it was me, Ike, and Caudice. And we ordered an Uber for 3 people. And the Uber pulled up. The dude looked at us and went and just took off. Order was canceled. But anyways, back to this cancelization. They canceled it. And I'm like, man, I'm gonna have to get a taxi. About a 20-minute drive, 25 minutes. We get to the end. That dude said $97. I was like,
excuse me?
you see,
this is why Uber is taking you out of business.
Yeah, this was back in 2016, but I had the Link to the Past death animation. I was gone. That was the most ridiculous thing I have ever seen. Because that was the first time in my life that I actually got a taxi. Normally, I am always in control. Either I got to rent a vehicle, or I'm driving myself in my own vehicle, or I'm being driven by a homie. This Uber, Lyft stuff, and taxi, circa 2016, I was a fish out of water, and boy, I will never take a taxi ever again in my life. Ever. I'd rather walk. You will catch me walking on the LAX exchange highways before you catch me in another yellow vehicle with a taxi sign on it. But anyways, I digress. Pulling back, these gas prices are insane. Now, granted, things often get worse before they get better, but luckily, I got some tech. Go to your local Kroger. If you have a Kroger grocery store near you, apply for a Kroger Plus card. Might take you a week or 2. Then, every time you buy groceries, you get about 30 to 40 cents off your next fill up. And this also works at Shell gas station. So if you're going to Shell, you already win. And you may be saying, but what if I don't have any points? If you don't have any points, I have better news for you. If you don't have any points to get the big multitudes of 30, 40, 50, 60, all the way up to $1 off of your gas per gallon, even if you have no points, every time you go to the pump, you will always get 10 cents minimum off per gallon. So I'm just saying. Kroger Plus card don't cost you nothing, and you don't even got to shop at Kroger. If you don't want the 20, 30, 40 cents off, that's fine. I don't shop at Kroger. I go to Sam's Club. I go to Target, or Target, as some people like to call it in the upper echelon neighborhoods around here, or, anywhere else that isn't Kroger, but I still get my 10% off, or my 10%. I wish it was 10%. I get my 10 cents off every time I fill up. And that's just great. That's just huge. Speaking of huge, Twitch finds themselves in the crosshair. Is anybody surprised? Anybody? Show of hands. Is anybody really, you guys surprised that Twitch does something? Because for those of you who don't know, and I can't believe 2022 has brought us with this very, very interesting prospect where I'm going to be defending Doja Cat. Dry heaved in my mouth a little bit. I'm going to be defending One more time. I'm going to be defending
that
Doja
queen's
Cat.
name is Doja Cat. It's Doja Cat, all right?
Look, man,
we stand Doja Cat out here, okay? Look, Doja Cat, if you're listening to this, you get out of my DMs. It's all right. I won't be like Lil Dicky. I won't be like, excuse me, lady.
There it is. The ulterior motive, thinking with the head below the waist, as opposed to the one above the show. I'm on to you. But that being said, you may be saying, all right, what did Doja Cat do? It's not even something she did. She made a video game, or I should say a video game in which she's featured heavily in, called House Party, which basically looks like a more dating and a arousing version of The Sims. Game is not even out yet. It comes out in the fall of this year, so at least 4 months need to go by before we even see this game even start picking up what we would call Steam. And for some reason, Twitch bans Doja Cat from streaming her game, because she wanted to go ahead and stream it, have a little bit of pizzazz. And apparently they banned her because of sexual content. However, nothing in her game has anything to do with sexual. Now, you may have saw a little bit of titillation. You may have saw some breasting. You may saw some hips hipping, but you never saw any genitalia. You never saw no areola. You never saw any anal cavities, if you're into that type of thing. You didn't see anything that was necessarily lewd, or even something that implied that the lewd act was happening. But they banned them. And these are 3D, this is 3D models here, folks. We have actual video games where people are actually fucking able to be streamed on Twitch. We have whole sex scenes that are allowed to be displayed on Twitch. We have the bath hot tub ASMR lick my ear and pretend you're sucking my willy as my little sister category on Twitch. And most of those people are doing what we would call the big fine. The account is in good standing. But for some reason, people are up in arms about this. Don't remember, for those of you who don't remember, what was it? Not last year, but the year before last, when they were trying to push that weird gamer stalker game. Does anybody remember that?
Oh,
and then we found out that the people on board were shitty, racist, crazy people.
Come on, E-Girl? Was that what it was called? I think.
I honestly thought it was called Gamer Girl.
I think Gamer Girl is what it was called. Yeah.
And it never saw the light of day because the backstage controversies then began rearing their ugly head. But I digress. Some people are being upset, and some people are angry. Some people are fighting back. Some people are saying that Doja Cat is, being discriminated against because of this double standard. Because the game developers, I believe they're called Eek Studios, which that's kind of cringe, but Eek Games, their CEO, it may be cringe, but they got a point. They blast Twitch for having this hot tub double standard. How can someone basically be shoving their booty in the camera while people are throwing money at them inside a virtual strip club? But my game that's very similar to The Sims, from what we can digest of it thus far, is in hot water because there's some lewd implications that y'all had to draw. Because the game doesn't even draw these conclusions, by the way. From the little bit that we've seen, it just shows somebody in a erotic lingerie dress, and they're just like, hey, it's Doja Cat, baby. Yeah. Don't you love to see it? And people in hot tubs, which you can watch real people in hot tubs for the free ski. on the very same platform. It's just a really weird thing, but that's where that is right now. I mean, what do you think? Do you think Doja Cat is going to have a great point? Do you think they're gonna unban the game? Do you think it'll be in restricted mode only?
I hope they unban the game because the reality of things is if Doja Cat herself just turned on a stream where she was in a hot tub, she would not have gotten banned. But this footage of this game that looks way less good than less better than Doja Cat is getting banned for alleging that, you know, maybe these Sims characters are gonna do something in a hot tub. Like, come on, man. As long as they're not shitting in the front lawn, then you know we're good. Like, we're good out here. I just,
oh no, the baby girl is loose and now she's spreading her cheeks to drop a deuce. Like, if that's what the game is, all right, bro.
I mean, like, the game didn't even look like it was all that. The people,
it honestly looked like shovelware. It looked like one of those like weird reject games that used to come out like on like the very first original Xbox Connect. You know those shovelware titles that were originally on the Connect? Those.
Oh my God.
That's what this looks like. It looks like a 2022 version of those games. So it doesn't look like much, but the fact that it got banned is like, I know more about this game's existence because it got banned than I would have ever known had you have just shut the fuck up about it, Twitch.
Yep.
But, you know, Twitch does that quite often. I mean, after all, they're trying to take more than 60% of your ad revenue split, and they're trying to take more than 60% of your subs. You know, the thing that you are, you know what, I don't want to dunk on Twitch all day because you can watch damn near any episode of this podcast and get the same experience. But moving on to our next topic, we have Attack on Titan. Look, I have never been a fan of Attack on Titan. You've heard it here first, folks. I'm in the minority. I know. But Attack on Titan has announced that they're going to have a final season part 4 because final seasons part 1, 2, and apparently 3 were just not enough to satisfy the epic, compact conclusion of what they gave you in the manga. Now, side little thing here. You want to know why I wasn't a big fan? I had watched a few anime and a few manga where the entirety of the twist, so to speak, was we were the things we were fighting the entire time. Anybody in the comment section below, if you can name this anime, don't get me wrong, it's not even a good anime, but if you can name it, I'll make sure that you're the pinned comment in the comment section below. There's an anime that I literally had just watched like 2 minutes before I started Attack on Titan. I just finished it.
Please don't tell me it's Terraform Mars.
No, Terraform.
Okay.
See, Terraform
because
Mars
that came out after. That's what I was
here's it. No. Terraform Mars at the least had the common courtesy to tell you straight up that we were the thing. Like that wasn't a twist. That was right off. That was from the get-go. We knew what it was. I don't mind that. But I watched a couple animes in a row that had this twist. And then I had watched an anime where a guy's in a mech suit, like a Gundam, comes from space, crash lands on a flooded planet that's basically Earth after, you know, we done fucked up the environment to the point where it's basically Waterworld. And now he's got his Gundam and everyone else has regular space pirate mechs, which basically means they just get 10-0'd by his fucking Gundam. He's got this future technology. But basically, at the end of the day, you find out the reason why he was in the Gundam is he was fighting against giant squid people that look like Metroid Prime in space, and he was shooting them up, and like it was all some crazy shit, and he's got PTSD, and when he comes down to Waterworld, he sees like a regular squid, and he just flips the fuck out. He's like, he just starts unloading the entire clip on a regular squid, and like, hey bro, relax, it's a squid. But eventually you find out that in the plot twist that he opens up a secret military bunker that's on this planet that has his insignia on it. And he's like, that's weird. Long story short, you find out that the squid people knew that this planet was going to die, Earth. So they needed to put themselves into a science experiment program, which puts them in squid bodies so they can survive in deep space. But apparently, the groups of people that they sent out into deep space were out in deep space for so long, their mental state was no longer stable. So they basically became a different species of aggro squid people in deep space who completely forgot all of their human roots. So when they see humans, they're like, oh, food. So basically, we was the squids because of shit that happened a long time ago. So I start watching Attack on Titan. I'm like, all right, it's humanity on their last stand. It's their last leg. All right, it's us versus them. Let's get it. Then episode 3 comes on, and I'm like, no. Don't you do it again. Not again. So
now,
look, I never
what if I told
Attack
you
on
that
Titan,
all of that is a lie?
Hold on. I never gave Attack on. I will admit, I never gave Attack on Titan a fair shot because when it came out, I had just finished this. Now, unfortunately, I have a lot of friends who do watch a lot of Attack on Titan, so I am spoiled on like a lot of it. But then I find out it was like this king who found out there was a thing that he could do, and then like he fed his wife to his children, and then they got powers, and shit show begins. And look, I get that a lot of it is a lie, and it's all based off some shitty shit, and there's even some fucking parallels with Nazi Germany and having the Jewish people in a camp and doing all types of heinous shit to them. One of which putting them on islands and sending prisoners to get eaten by Titans. And yeah, this whole fucking big plot. I'm not getting into too many details or spoilers, but don't announce that you're dropping a final chapter and then it's final chapter part 1, final chapter part 2. At most, you may be allowed a final chapter part 2. But when you get to 3 and then you're like, hey guys, we're going to need a little bit more, especially when you already have the ending written in manga format, I feel disrespected, bro. I would feel hold.
Well, okay. Let me tell you why. Even though I also am on the side of this is stupid and this sucks, I completely understand where this came from, because when they announced that season 4 was the final season of the show, the manga wasn't even done yet. So it was like, hello?
Yeah, because I thought that was weird too.
Yeah, the source material wasn't done, and like season 3 was like pretty far off from where the manga was at that time also. And so I'm like, you're gonna fit all of that stuff into
Hey, they could have gave you the original Full Metal Alchemist treatment. You just got an original anime only ending.
That would have,
which according to a lot of people, that's what they want, because apparently the ending of Attack on Titan to a lot of people was not good.
It
was not good
weird,
at all.
Man. It's kind of weird. Yeah, it's kind of weird. We're all hoping that it's different. You know, that they give us the Full Metal Alchemist. You know, Full Metal Alchemist.
Full Metal Alchemist.
A whole different ending. You know, that'd be so great, because I think that'd be better for the anime in general. But
and I also heard the manga also got a revision on the ending. Like they released another chapter or something like that.
I haven't seen this.
But ultimately, like, look, I'm not saying that Attack on Titan had like the worst ending of all time, because have you seen Naruto? No, once again, Naruto didn't have the worst ending of all time, but boy,
they had the stupidest ending of all time.
They had I'm sorry, aliens.
That's fine.
Gotta be aliens, bro.
That was fine. That was fine. You don't even have to like. No,
Madara was out here cooking, bro, and then it was like, by the way, I'm an alien woman.
You don't even have to do all that. See, you could take the word alien out of that, and then just like care about the rest and just be like, oh my god, the goddess of all ninjutsu came down. Of course she would be the final boss of this anime. You know, whatever. And then just think about it that way, and it's fine. You know?
See, you say that, but like they ain't talking about this woman at all, bro.
You hear about her lore wise here and there. And then they give you like the lore dump to explain.
And then Zetsu was like, it's my mom. And I'm like, wait.
It's like,
And then he's like, I fooled the Senju and the Uchiha by writing graffiti on an ancient slab. That was your plan? You wrote some scribbles.
It's like, yo, somebody was dying when they wrote this, all right? like that was like end of Bleach style shit, where it's like, no, we gotta wrap it up, bro. Like, just put something on the paper. Come on, man, we gotta get it done.
Aizen got your watch with a major look.
No,
I thought this man could look into timelines. Excuse me.
Not even that. You don't see how it ends at all. It's literally like, Now we're gonna fight you. You'll watch me, Aizen, the craziest team up ever. Let's go. And then it's all of a sudden like 5 years later, and it's like, man, that was a crazy battle, guys. That was insane. It's like, what?
Hey man, who told you about the Dead Man Wonderland manga? I still think when it comes to mangas with the worst ending, like I'm telling you right now, I still give it to Air Gear. Air Gear just went to fucking shambles, bro.
You will never get over that show. Come on, man.
The show. I don't care. Whatever. I don't care about that. That shit just had. I think it was just turned into like 3 OVAs at that point. But that manga, man, I was up there. I was like, yeah, let's go. And then I was like, come on, man, it's shambles, just shambles. But anyways.
No, man, we didn't get to the best part. We didn't get to the best part. After all the like weird alien lady thing happens, all of a sudden Sasuke turns to Naruto and goes, "I'm gonna fight you." And it's like, what the fuck?
Because I'm gonna be El Presidente Gigante.
And it's like, nigga, we just killed God. Like, what president? Like, what are you talking about right now?
I'm gonna be Hokage, and it's like, let's just say you beat Naruto, right? Let's just say that happens. You think the rest of these people not gonna at least try to swing on you? You know what I mean? Like,
also, hey, lore masters, out of all the things that Naruto and Sasuke could do in that series, some of these things transcending time. Also, some of these base abilities for eyes transcending time. But they blew up their arms and they just couldn't reverse that in any sort of way. No. They were tired. They don't have chocolate.
No, man, they ain't have Zetsu on the field, bro.
How many dead people came back to life in that arc alone? Like, come on now.
Yo, shout out to my boy Sage of the Six Paths. You know what I mean? He was like, "No, my job is done. I ain't got no more help for y'all. Y'all good."
Also,
I'm out of here, bro.
Are there only 2 forbidden jutsu? Because, you had that whole thing of like this giant scroll with all the forbidden jutsu. Naruto learns one thing, and then you see one other thing, which is I summon dead people, which is like, oh, so you could just do that.
There are plenty throughout the series. There's at least 6 that we've seen.
Oh, well, there's also the ceiling one. Okay, that's 3. I don't even know what the hell else was forbidden.
Okay, so there was like what do you call it? The Rito Tensei? Ito Tensei. No, Rene Tensei. Ito Tensei. I think the snake sacrifice jutsu, the one that what was the purple hair girl? The one that used the thing on Orochimaru.
Anko?
Yeah.
I mean,
that was one. Was
that a forbidden one? Or was that just a thing that Orochimaru developed?
No, Orochimaru developed. It was a forbidden jutsu, yes.
I thought all the ones that he created were not in that scroll because he made them.
No, that wasn't everyone known to man. There were forbidden ones from other villages have different shit.
I mean, yeah, other villages did have different shit. I'm talking about the giant scroll in the beginning that was like, yo.
Oh, well, here's the thing. I don't even think we ever get to see what's on it. On that, if you're talking about the ones in there.
We sure don't. Because like most of the ones that they show.
The curse seal's forbidden. The shit that he was putting on children.
I thought that was also like a thing that he was like developing with science. I thought that was like the whole implication that he was like doing shit that they'd not really even like thought about or like experimented with because they were like, this is
well, I think like the whole point of forbidden, like things that are banned from morality, like forbidden just means that you shouldn't teach it.
Yeah, that's why Shadow Clone Jutsu never made sense to me. Why it was in that scroll.
It's like I get all these other ones be infecting you with like fucking ninja AIDS and
yeah, ninja AIDS,
spontaneously combustion, heart attacks, your bones just shatter afterwards, messing with the balance of life and death, destroying the earth, and it's like you make more of yourself.
Summon a giant meteor, like it's like make clones of yourself, and you can let all of them learn, then when they die,
is the Reaper Death Seal a forbidden jutsu?
Yeah, it is.
It's gotta be, right?
Yeah, it is. But also, the Reaper Death Seal is like weird. Like if if the third Hokage didn't literally die in the process of trying to do this thing, he would have just had Orochimaru in his stomach.
So apparently, because I just want to go look it up on the wiki. So apparently, Deodara's entire kit was just forbidden jutsu.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's why he got kicked out.
Yeah, because he was out here carpet bombing people, bro.
But like, that's weird because his hands,
it's like, can we talk about how did that happen?
I think there was some like throwaway line that like, he had them like genetically modified to be that way. It wasn't like a natural. It wasn't like a Kekkei Genkai sort of thing. Like he wasn't born with hands that like have mouths on them. Because I'm thinking maybe there's a clan with all this and shit like that. It's like, where's the lore here? And it was just like, he's like, no, hands, give me more clay.
Because then you got the weird folks. Because like, when I was a kid, I think I watched like the original Naruto, and then like I was like, man, this is a lot of filler. Then Shippuden came out, and I was like, I don't know if I care. And then like the Akatsuki dropped, and I was like, okay, these dudes look dope. And then like the very first thing that I saw on Facebook at that time, because this is like during the era where I was still watching Facebook. I know, national tragedy, everyone. And yeah, the very first thing I see is people talking about, oh man, I can't wait to get a hand job from Deidara. And I'm like, what are y'all people talking about? Like what is going on? And then like I saw their hands, and I was like, y'all are demons. Horny is undefeated on all timelines. People just be saying shit, bro.
I think by the end of Naruto, they just started making shit up, because at the beginning, you had Haku and Zabuza, that's what his name was, who had the giant sword.
And they talked like Zabuza's like
legendary swordsman, like, all this stuff.
Legendary S-class criminal. And then it's like, nah, he was nothing. He was a jobber.
He just had a giant sword. And then they were like, oh, he actually stole the sword from one of the real legendary swordsmen. And at the end, when they showed the other swordsmen, it's like, they all have actual special abilities and things going on here.
He didn't just swing them, bro.
Yeah, he just had a giant sword with a hole in it.
Like one dude had like poison strings. The other dude had his was just a big cleaver. Everybody else had like, oh, my sword is a needle that can like shrink to like the size of a fucking nanometer and you can't see it. And there's strings everywhere. Then some dude was like, oh yeah, so my sword is a living beast that eats chakra.
Mm-hmm. That guy literally set up something interesting by like giving the throwaway line of Zabuza, that nigga sucks. You know, it's like, it's like, wait, because like he's like, oh, I'm from the Hidden Mist. I'm one of the actual legendary swordsmen. You see this thing here? And his sword starts growling, and it's like, okay, yeah, I believe him over anything Zabuza may have said. And then that guy turned out to be a fucking fish.
Oh man, because like when you look at like the original Seven, it's like they look like goons. They look like they're a real problem.
They were a real squad, and then you have Haku and Zabuza who came back to life around the same time. It was just kind of like, well, what do you guys do? I killed all my classmates and got a giant sword.
Anyways. And it's weird because they brought back the legendary swords gimmick and apparently in Boruto, and I was like, all right, man, y'all.
Oh.
Yeah, sometimes y'all gotta let some things die. You feel me? Like sometimes like it ain't gotta be everything all the time, you know?
The Boruto was like a 2-episode thing that should have just stayed at that. It's like, oh, that's nice. They all have like kids and stuff. Cool.
But I'm mad that Rock Lee named his kid Metal Lee. I don't know what about that, but it pisses me off.
Pisses me off too.
Like, is Metal Lee gonna have a kid and he's gonna name it Steel Lee? And then Steel Lee gonna have Titanium Lee?
Okay, well, anywho.
Like, is that really where we've come to now? Like, I don't want that shit, bro.
Well, remember, Boruto was supposed to be named Bolt in the States, so amazing names.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. But speaking of amazing names, you heard about what's going on with Mohammed bin Salman? The now 97% majority owner of SNK? For those of you who don't know, if you buy 100% of your SNK stuff from this point onward, whether it be video games, comic books, posters, art, anything that's first party, you're now potentially helping funding Saudi blood money because, Mohammed bin Salman is now 97% owner. And if you don't know who that is, maybe you remember the guy who made sure a journalist was no longer living with us.
I think his name was Mohammed Khashoggi. I think that was the name of the journalist who fell. He tripped and fell and died.
The guy who fell? Is that
yeah.
You talking about what was his name? Jamal Khashoggi, I think?
Yeah, Jamal Khashoggi. They said he fell. He had like all kinds of like crazy like cuts and wounds and whatnot. And they're like, how did all this happen to him? No, yeah, he fell. I think the man literally got like beat to death with hands and he fell. Nah. That's all you need to know.
So they have footage, right? Now he walked into the Saudi consulate in Istanbul, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they never had any footage of him walking out.
Exactly.
Which is like mad weird.
And
he just disappeared.
Here's the explanation that was given for that too. So why didn't we see footage of him going out, after he walked in? Oh, he went out the back.
Y'all just ain't got no cameras out there.
Nah, man. Why? That's the back. Why would we do that? It's dirty.
Why would you feel about that? Huh? Come on. But it's weird because they found his body after it was disposed of.
Yeah. He fell into the trash can.
But here's the thing. They found his body was undressed and they drew blood from his veins and let it flow into the bathroom sink. And then apparently somebody dismembered the body. Because remember, they didn't find it like as a whole.
Yeah, they found it in pieces, but he fell.
They found injectors and scalpels that they brought to Turkey in their suitcases before dismembering their body.
That, yep. Let's
be completely honest. Let's be completely honest, right? They didn't find the whole body, by the way. There's still parts where it remains unclear where that stuff is at.
Look. In all seriousness, the man responsible for this, allegedly responsible for this, has enough money to be able to willingly pee on Instagram models. So I don't want the smoke. You got it, man. Oh, he fell? All right. Well, he owns SNK now.
Yeah, but it's real weird how hush money can work over there, because like after weeks of prying, the establishment, the consulate, like the building, they denied Turkey's Bureau of Investigation to extract water from the well, because they said they'd let his body's blood drain into the irrigation system, into the drainage.
Yeah.
And they said they wanted to inspect it. They said, no, you could put cameras in the well, but we're not going to allow you to draw that water. Not in the pipes, not in the sewage.
And what are you going to do about it?
They gave them the well. They said, what you going to do about it?
Exactly.
I said, it's wild. And now this dude is 97% owner of SNK, which probably explains why King of Fighters is getting a whole lot of DLC. Some of it being free, by the way. Because do you know how many characters they got now?
Nah, tell me.
All right, so they planned 12 DLC characters, right?
Yeah.
And as it stands right now, they got Team Garo, which I think is already out.
It's already out.
And then Team Southtown is May 2022. But I'm pretty sure that they dropped 2 other teams recently. Because I know Rugal's coming out soon.
Yeah, Omega Rugal is coming out. What's it? Team Goro, Team Southtown. Um, there was like one other team, the team with Yamazaki on it. And then I think there was one team after that. Okay. But then also extra, Rugal is Omega Rugal is just like free DLC for it. So are there more characters that they're adding to this?
I'm trying to remember that dude's name, but there is a character. I mean,
Yamazaki's Team Southtown. They didn't announce.
Yamazaki's on Southtown. Because I know the other two were like silhouettes.
Bro, hold on. I just realized.
Mm-hmm.
Not only are there 4 teams for the DLC, they're split into 2 passes. You don't buy one pass to have all 4 teams. You buy one pass to have 2
of the
out
teams.
Of the 4.
So you get 6 characters with one and 6 characters with the other.
Bro, who's even left to have as teams? Oh no! Unless
you want team sports. The helicopter guy that goes football, the basketball guy, and I forget what the third sport was.
So Lucky, football player.
I forget who the third one was.
I think there were two basketball players.
Because I know it wasn't Duck King, was it? No, because he's Duck King's Duck King is the dancer with the duck.
Sometimes I feel like I don't even know what KOF is anymore. I don't remember Duck King at all. This character is familiar, but I don't remember him having a duck. Holy shit.
Heavy D. It's Heavy D, Brian Battler, and Lucky Glover.
Yeah. Oh my god, Huajai is not even in the game. God damn.
But yeah, when you look at Heavy D, you can see why I thought Duck King. Dude with mohawk and sunglasses.
Wait. Is Kim a base roster character in KOF 15? Is he in the game? Oh my god, I'm like losing my fucking mind right now. I don't know why, but for some reason in my brain,
he was one of the first characters to get revealed.
Yeah, I just like kind of forgot that he was in the base roster because I don't think I've seen much footage of him being played in the game so far.
Wait, hold on.
Is he not
in the game?
He's not a listed character.
He is not in the game.
Kim Capwan is going to be DLC in a KOF game. Oh my god. Okay.
Look, I'm glad we're here because now we can talk about this. I'm a firm believer that I've said this for a few years now, that fighting games gameplay loop does not provide you with enough day-to-day content in order for them to facilitate a $60 price tag. Now, I know a lot of people are having conversations about fighting games should be free. I don't know about free, but I mean, free is cool with me. Trust me, free is cool with me. Because when you look at games like, I don't know, Dota, League of Legends, Genshin Impact, Apex Legends, or hell, you can even look at some of the more indier titles like Splitgate. You look at a lot of these free-to-play games, they have like 6, 7, 8, 15, 20, 30 different modes to play. And there are all different magnitudes of different viewpoints and ways to play the game that aren't just get this opponent's HP to 0 using strike throw mix-ups, combos, and playing the neutral game. Because let's face it, every fighting game that we have at this point, outside of the training mode, it's all different ways of just doing the same thing. Get your AI's opponent to 0%. Whether it's time attack, endurance mode, it's just different challenges. Can you beat it fast? Can you beat it without taking a hit? Can you beat it with only jabs? You know, stuff like that. It's nothing that's really quote unquote varying the formula of the game itself. It's not like when you're playing Call of Duty, you can play zombies. You could play tower defense. You could play, what do you call it? Search and destroy. You could play King of the Hill. You could play, you know, it's not just kills and gun skill that matter in a lot of these other modes, which changes the fundamentals of how you would go about trying to secure the W in those game modes. Or when you play Halo, you could play Infection. You could play Jenga. You could play Prison Escape with the custom game lobbies in like Halo, what do you call it? Master Chief Collection. Most of these game modes are not present in Halo Infinite, because in Halo Infinite, they only have 5 game modes. And I have a lot of beef with Halo Infinite, I'm making a video about it. But even with Halo Infinite, you have Fiesta, you have Capture the Flag, you have Oddball. Damn, they don't have Search and Destroy. They don't have Assault. That fucking sucks. They said Team SWAT's coming. And, you know, obviously they have different ways to vary it up, even though it's very limited in comparison to what we're accustomed to seeing in the Halo games. Even they have more layers of gameplay than we do in most fighting games. Because let's face it, most fighting games, they come out, you might have 2, maybe 3 gameplay sessions where it's just the story mode and single player content for you. Other than that, the gameplay loop at that point just consists of one thing and one thing alone. Do you want your online matches in ranked, or do you want your online matches in casual? And essentially, for most people, that is 98% of the playtime that they put their hours into these games. And you may be saying, yeah, that's about true. Makes sense. Newsflash. Every free-to-play game from Apex to Fortnite to League and all the ones I mentioned earlier have the same gameplay loop. And they have a lot more modes. And fundamentally, they have a lot more players because it's free to play. There's no risk. And trust me, after playing, you know, a couple fighting games in the modern era, you spend $60 on Guilty Gear and you're like, oh, okay, I like this. Then you spend $60 on KOF and I'm kind of like, You spend $60 on MK11. I know I don't really like this. But other genres who do charge you $60 for their competitive games, let's be honest, there's at least one thing that the vast majority of them have never done. They never tried to sell you some fucking question marks. I am getting tired of buying games and then they're like, get the season pass. And it says 4 characters. I'm like, who? And they show you, at best, 4 silhouettes. And in some games, they don't even show you silhouettes. It's just 4 question marks. And it just says character 1, character 2, character 3, character 4, and 2 new stages. What are the stages? Can you at least tell me the stages? No. And then ultimately,
that'll ruin the reveal.
And then ultimately, what I think sucks even more is when they do give you extra stages, most of these games are so unoptimized. If you want to play them in tournament, you don't get to look at the new stages because you're going to be on the grid, the battle training system, nothing else. Why? Because fuck you. That's why. Because, like, let's be honest. There are a couple of cool stages in Street Fighter V, but at least when you're playing on the vanilla PS4, a lot of them didn't run that well. A lot of them had some issues. Some of them, people were even arguing, might even be the culprit of why some of the games lag more often than others. Then they released this beautiful beach stage, but it made it to where they had like water that wasn't like clear. And therefore, by proxy, some characters had deceptive normals that were lows that you couldn't see because you're splish splashing in water as you fight.
And, you know, one character has a can that they just straight up throw on the ground that trips their character. And that became unforeseeable because he was just like, oh, where's the can? I can't see it because there's water.
It's like, man, this is a birdie counterpick stage now. Mm-hmm. Birdie players like, hey, man, my can is just another layer to the mix up. Especially back then, because Birdie's command grab used to be fucking insane. Anyways, we're not here to talk about meta decisions. Yep. We're here to talk about the fact that fighting games as a whole being free to play, I think is a huge step in the right direction. Some people may say, but there's no proof of concept. I don't think anyone wants to take that risk. Microsoft did. But some of y'all may not remember Killer Instinct and how a lot of games today that are coming out with these features that you love, they got them for Killer Instinct. They got them for Killer Instinct, what was it, 2013? which also had 3 seasons of banger gameplay, 3 seasons of bringing exceptional grade heat, especially with some of their DLC roster selection. Like, the only time I thought they missed was when they went with the Battletoads route, but it's Microsoft and they own the IP, so it's only a matter they were going to do that. But
I mean, that's the best thing they did with Battletoads, remember, because that one game, it didn't exist.
But even if you look on the other side of that, I know during the Japanese game developer conference that the fighting game community has like a couple times a year, I think it was Harada. So yeah,
yes.
we tried that once. Don't you remember? Was it Tekken Bloodline?
Tekken Revolution, buddy.
There you go. Tekken Revolution. There you go.
Bloodline was the movie.
Yeah, there you go. God damn. Well, I was like, wait, no, it was something bad. I couldn't remember what it was. All right, so Tekken Revolution, right? First of all, one of your early mistakes was you had a stamina system in that game. You told people how long they could play it. That was one of the first L's that you took. Second L you took is you had no long-term content provision plan. Like, you released the game and then you were like, that's the game. Oh, you wanted characters to come out like once every other month? Yeah, sorry, not happening.
They just took Tekken Tag 2. I guess they took like Tekken Tag 2's like base 1v1 system and then took out a few things and instead added like an armor. Oh my god, they made Tekken 7 beta. They made the Tekken 7 beta with this thing and then said, here, play it.
Because the other thing, right, that I think is like really, really, really interesting about the situation was, sorry, the one thing I think was really interesting about the situation was like, okay, you don't want to make the game free to play because you're like, we tried that once and it didn't go well. Okay, I get that. But one thing that I think a lot of people need to overlook is the fact, well, I shouldn't say people need to overlook, people need to not overlook, is like Microsoft was able to make a free-to-play game because they're Microsoft. Microsoft has took a developer, told them to develop a game, and just had the developer produce something that was so dog shit, so terror bad, that they shut down the studio. Anybody remember Ensemble Games? Remember when they were led into the trap of, oh yeah, your Age of Empires series is great. We want you to make Halo Wars, but not like Age of Empires. We want you to make it like this. Some Command and Conquer ripoff. No one bought fucking Halo Wars. Because I learned something yesterday about the Halo lore that you might be interested in.
Okay.
If you played the Halo Infinite campaign, there are definitely some things that you may have been like, I don't know what that is. Like, where does this fall in the timeline? Who the fuck is this guy? Who the fuck is that? Actually, a lot of the things that are lost in translation that you may not know if you've only played the numbered Halo games in Reach and ODST, a lot of the lore that you need to understand, a lot of the deep lore state things of Halo 5 are actually locked in the campaign of Halo Wars 2. So if you never played Halo Wars 2, then there's a reason why you don't know who a lot of these people are. And a lot of this shit looks weird. But yeah, Halo Wars 2 is supposed to be the one that explains all that. But who the fuck played Halo Wars 2? Because I didn't. That's why I was like, oh, we must be getting a game that's going to happen before Halo Infinite that's going to explain all the stuff that happened in Halo Infinite, and therefore by proxy we're going to understand a lot of these things a lot better. Okay, makes sense to me. And then I find out, no, that game already exists and I was supposed to have played it like 7 years ago. It's a real shame. It's a real tragedy because I'm still not going to play Halo Wars 2. You can't make me play Halo Wars 2 because I played Halo Wars 1. It's not going down, fam.
You don't have to play it. It's all right.
But yeah, free to play fighting games, I feel like you got to do it. But at the same time, you look at a Capcom, they're not Microsoft. You look at a Bandai Namco, they're not Microsoft. You look at any other fighting game company under the sun, like Arc System Works, they're not Bandai Namco. It's tough for them to make a free-to-play game and take that risk when you
Hold on here, buddy. Hold on here, buddy. Let's not forget. One, Killer Instinct was supposed to be an Xbox 360 game, and it took so long for them to develop the first season that it ended up being a launch title for the Xbox One. That was the ultimate gamble. Luckily, even though there's some like very, very stupid things in season 1 of Killer Instinct, that game, was very good, and it was like the only fighting game on this console. So they had a lot going for them, and the IP, brought people into it
because on the PS4, I think somehow Sony was able to lock up all these other fighting game developers as console exclusives.
Yeah.
Like outside of what the NRS games, I think everything else kind of didn't have an Xbox 360 version. Or excuse me, an Xbox One version.
Yeah. It depends. Yeah. Yeah, like Street Fighter was
did Blaze Blue come out on Xbox One?
No. I don't think Blaze Blue had a PS4 game. Wait, no, Central Fiction. I'm dumb.
Because Chrono Phantasma, right?
No, it's PS3.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I know. Like, it's insane. But yeah, Central Fiction was Sony, a PlayStation exclusive that also had a PC version.
Wait. Hold on. Amazon.com. No, that's Chrono Phantasma. You fucking lied to me.
What are you talking about?
I went on Amazon, I typed in Central Fiction, and it popped up. And then when I clicked it, it changed to Chrono Phantasma.
Oh.
I was like, hey, you lied to me, bro.
I mean, that's what they want you to buy, bro.
Wait, Blaze Blue Central Fiction Special Edition is on the Switch?
Yeah.
I did not know that the Switch version existed.
It came out not that long ago. Don't worry. It was a surprise to all of us. And some people have said it's okay. It runs.
Yeah, so the MK11 on the Switch, it ran.
You know what? I literally told someone actually yesterday, just because MK11 runs on the Switch doesn't mean you would actually buy the game to play it on the Switch. So, yeah.
That's facts. You spitting right now.
There's no reason
you were saying words that make sense.
Yep, there's no reason to get like the inferior version of a video game, especially a fighting game. Like, you're just not really gonna have fun unless you enjoy being very casual with the game. Even then, you might get pissed off. So yeah, I don't know. What is it? KI was Xbox One exclusive, which that sucked. That's like the main reason why that game wasn't as popular as it should have been in the first like 2 seasons. But the first season came out, Double Helix made it. It was pretty good. It had like a cult following. Some people bought Xboxes for that game. And it was okay. Then what is it? Oh my god. The Dive Kick company. Whatever. Keats. Keats and Friends made season 2, and they introduced new concepts to the game to make it like fresh and more interesting, and like to just open it up even more. And the game just continued to get more and more popular from there. And it's a free-to-play fighting game where you pay for the characters that you want, but you can also, by the end of the seasons, they would have like a disc version that was just like a definitive edition. It just had everything that you wanted. So yeah, free-to-play fighting games can be a good move. DOA has tried to do it for 2 games, and having what is it? Oh my god, I can't remember what they named the like free to play version of the DOA games right now, but like having those versions is good because they cycle characters, just like KI did.
Oh, you talking about the Core Fighters thing that they did?
Yeah, Core Fighters. That's what it is. Core Fighters. Having a Core Fighters, edition of these fighting games allows people who maybe just want to try it out to just download it, see if maybe they like it with whatever character. And then also, if they don't want to spend like $60 for like all the characters, DLC, blah, 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 whatever, they can pay like $2 for the character that they want and then just play that character in all the modes that the game has so far. You know, they can do that, or they can, you know, buy the full version if they care. Free to play doesn't have to be like black and white. It doesn't have to be like it's either free to play or you pay money.
Let's be honest. DOA should be free to play because they have made content long form. You may be saying, all right, bro, what do you mean they make content long form? What is you really trying to say? When it comes to costumes, DLC characters, stages, theme packs, and stuff like that, there is over $1,000 worth of add-on content just for this game alone.
Mostly costumes.
Oh, no, it's like 90% costumes, by the way. I think there's what, 12 characters? 8 characters? Something like that. 8 to 12 characters. And then like an ass load of costumes.
I don't even think DOA 6 had up to like 8 DLC characters. And then DOA 5, I think DOA 5 Ultimate came out before they started Core Fighters, so all of the like DLC
you can also
characters,
buy the characters individually for $4.
Yeah.
Or you can buy them in you could buy the male pack, the male Core Fighters pack for $34. Or you can buy the female Fighters Core pack, which gives you every woman on the roster for $40. Because of course. So yeah, I don't know. Free to play fighting games, like it shouldn't be like written off the way that people are trying to do right now. And you know, we are waiting for Killer Instinct 2. So, do you know how much the DOA 6 season pass #1 is? By the way, just the season pass.
Like $900.
900? No, just the season pass, bro.
Just the season pass, like $900.
It's $92.99. So you're in the ballpark.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why season pass costs more than the game, but you know, it is what it is. But the season pass comes with 62 costumes and 2 new characters that were released during the period of March to June 2019. Holy shit, that was 3 months.
Are you talking about how much it costs right now or when it released?
I'm talking about right now. If you go on Steam, it's $92.99.
Okay, and Steam.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's not surprising, and that's also better than what DOA 5 ended up with when it came to the DLC. So yeah.
If you would like to get it on Xbox, it's currently on a 50% sale for $46.50.
That's a sale. For the DLC. Like, come on, man. What a world, man. What a world to live in.
You know what? Let's see how much it is on PS4. Maybe on PS4 it's also $49. Yep, it's also 50%. So this is a publisher sale.
That's.
But apparently when it came out, they were charging $92.99.
Yeah, I remember seeing it and being like, just being confused. Like, why would you want me to pay that much just for the DLC? Someone bought it.
Apparently there was a Season Pass 5.
Yes.
And how much was that?
Around the same amount of money.
$85. All right.
See? Every Season Pass was about $80 to $90.
But here's the thing. You also got to rein in like these prices, you know? Like that's one of the scary things.
That's what really sucks. Like,
because like you can have like just because you have a free to play game doesn't mean that the people who are in charge of developing it are going to price it well.
The problem is that with these games right now, people are trying to say that all these like, you know, high costs are acceptable because of the fact that, you know, the DLC costs are going to allow the developers to make more content. But like, if I really wanted to pay $90 for the developer to make more content, I think the more content I would want is a new game. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, here's the thing, like costumes, maybe a character, blah, that's all great. But like, if you're spending like 1.5, the value of the entirety of the base game, and all you getting is costumes, many of which for characters that you probably have no intention on playing. You getting scammed.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. I do feel as though there needs to be more meat and potatoes in some of these games. Like, I feel like one of the easiest ways to fix this is, I don't know if y'all remember Mortal Kombat Deception and Armageddon, but having like a Shaolin Monks-esque like single player campaign, and then like when you're fighting bosses that are like actual, characters, you can have it turned into the traditional 2D or 3D fighting game arena. I know some of y'all are going to say, oh, but that's tough to code. It's real hard to have multiple different game types in one engine. Original Xbox, Mortal Kombat Armageddon, gave you puzzle combat, combat kart, a kart racing game, a 3D fighting game, and the single player was what I've already described to you.
Yep.
They have 4 different ways to play a game. That's worth $60, bro. And I'm not saying you have to do all of that every time.
We're not telling you to make Streets of Rage 4 in its entirety as like a separate mode in this fighting game. We're just saying add, content that's similar. Add content, just do Tekken 6's scenario campaign, You pick your characters, 8-way run through these courses, and then you just do your regular moves with like somewhat janky controls. And then every once in a while you have like actual battles that are just the fighting game itself, that's all you got to do.
I mean, they put Virtual Fighter in the fucking Yakuza game.
Yeah. Like the full game.
Yeah, so you can't tell me that it can't be done, guys. Like all you got to do, and I don't want to say all you got to do because that just minimalizes what developers do as a whole. I understand, really hard, thankless work, long hours, and you guys definitely get put in the dev crunch. And I don't like maybe the way fighting games are currently developed is the only way they can avoid dev crunch. But holy shit, it would just be. Oh, I know. We hear about it all the time. And I don't know if that's like an upper management problem or how they're gonna fix that. But like, it would be nice. It would really be nice if, like, I'm not saying it's got to be like as streamlined as Genshin Impact, but if you have like a nice open world adventure in which you're using your characters to fight people, and then if you're playing Tekken, Kazuya shows up and he's like, "This transgression will not stand," and then like you throw hands in the fighting game.
Kazuya Mishima.
And then you do what you got to do. I think that'd be like a real cool way to, flip the fighting game formula on its head, because it's something that we got a taste of a few times. And then Midway decided, nah, we're not doing enough out here. Then it became NRS, and then they kind of didn't have that. But even with MK9, you had the towers, you had the challenge tower, you had a tag mode, you had all types of different like augmented ways to play the game. Then you had the crypt, which technically is another way that you're playing another game inside of a game. Especially with MK11's crypt, because it's kind of like a mini Metroidvania in order to unlock other areas.
MK11's crypt, without all the like gotcha style shit with unlocking things, that'd be a nice mode. But the towers and the challenge towers and all that stuff, that's all that stuff you were saying earlier about how limiting fighting games are. Yeah, like, because it's still... Because a lot of those are still just get the character's health to 0. Now, you can use some of that to be like, to teach people like, let's just say there's a game with like advancing guard or some shit like that, right? You could have like an augmented version of the fight where a character's throwing like a giant beam at you, and then you block the beam, and then you advance and guard the beam that hits you multiple times. So that way it's like, okay, you're trying to put some tension into the game, but you're also teaching a game mechanic. Because that's what Mortal Kombat Deception and Armageddon did when you had to do a training dojo mission. Yep.
And they would teach you like stance change combos, and they would teach you like the how to use the combo breaker. And it'd be like a way that the game is having a character be taught as part of the lore, but you're also learning how to play the video game, which I think is one of the best ways to put a tutorial and blend it with gameplay and storytelling. And it isn't like you went out of your way to click something that said training. Then you click on like the 50, you see chapter 1 of 52, of just training missions. And the first 12 are like, walk forward, walk backward, jump. And it's just like, there's just so much stuff there that's like very trivial. But if you don't do, especially the ones where like, if you don't do all the beginning ones, you can't even, it doesn't even allow you to get access to the other ones. It'd be a pain like that sometimes. But all in all, comment section, do your thing. Let us know how you guys feel. Do you guys think fighting games should be able to, have more robust campaigns or, warrant their $60 price tag? Or do you think it'd be much easier for them to hit up the free-to-play world and, go about it that route? Because, I mean, when you got games like Kirby and the Forgotten Land, Elden Ring, Horizon Forbidden West all coming out, and they're like, 15, 20, 40, 50-hour campaigns, and they're $60, and they don't even charge you anything for DLC that's required for you to actually play and enjoy the game to, 100% completion. You got to start asking yourself, man, are we getting hoed with fighting games? Because I spent $40 for this DLC, and all I know is, that I'm getting is 4 characters. I don't even know who the characters are, what they look like, or how they play. They question marks. Which, that's tough.
Hey, remember when Capcom announced that they were going to give all the Street Fighter V players one more season because Street Fighter 6 is getting delayed? And so, they're like, hey, yeah, guys, we're going to give you some great characters. We're going to give you stuff like Dan and Rose is coming back. Oh, my God, this season is going to be great. But who could the last character be? Like, I mean, we gave you that Rival Schools character, so like, oh my God, it's going to be so exciting, guys. So exciting.
It's real.
You come out, and they're like, this character is going to be very, very integral to Street Fighter 6. And it's fucking Luke. So you get double shot with that, because it's like, not only is this the final character that you paid for this pass, that
best
you
character in the game, good. By the way, free.
Yeah, best character in the game. Also, not only is he, the final character in this pass, he's also the first character to be announced for Street Fighter 6.
That's crazy. It's crazy when you announce a character before Ryu in a Street Fighter game. That's wild.
Officially, he was announced with Ryu for Street Fighter 6, but they told us he was going to be there.
Yeah. That's, I think, is, always kind of fun. But pushing past fighting game topics, with the last 3 topics, we were probably going to end up machining gunning these because, number one, E3's canceled. And like, I really don't understand how anyone thought anything else was going to happen. I mean, COVID, while not the biggest deal going on in the world today, with obviously some countries not being able to get the fuck along and COVID still being at least a thing, having all these international guests and flying them out in one place is probably not one of the easiest, if not one of the, what I would call, worst things to do. Also, let's be honest, now that flight prices are going back to pre-COVID prices, a lot of these guests may not think about being able to make it, as it were, much less being able to sell the on-site passes and tickets, blah, 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 so on and so forth. And a lot of these developers are starting to learn the benefits of just, we'll just stream it ourselves on our own time. It's all easy, do it in-house, set up a couple webcams, showcase some footage, and call it a day. Saves everybody a whole lot of money and a whole lot of time. And you don't have to worry about competing for primetime slots with other bigger AAA developers at the same conference.
Yep. All you really got to do at this point, have, some of your devs be in a room, some nice decorations, and they say, hello, we've worked very, very hard on this video game. All right, here's the video game, and they play a trailer.
And then you just upload it to your YouTube, get the views, read the comments for the feedback. And that's really all you got to do.
Yeah.
And then after that, we got the Morbius movie dropped in theaters. And look, I don't really care about the movie either way. I haven't seen it, but I have been spoiled on the post-credit scene with the Vulture. And all I'm going to say is, how do you take a character that was super dope and then immediately fuck it? Like, how do you, Because Because remember, they were building up to that whole thing about the Sinister Six, and he was in prison, and there was like the fucking Scorpion, and they were having conversations. But now that no one knows who Peter Parker is, now he's got beef with Spider-Man, but he's not even in the same prison anymore, which means he can't be talking to Scorpion. But now he's trying to start an alliance with Morbius. But it's weird because apparently he's in a different universe than he was when he was in No Way Home.
That's right.
So he ends up getting his suit, but I was like,
But he it's different, buddy.
But I was like, but wait, there's no Tony Stark in this universe, because in No Way Home, we were told there's no Tony Stark in, well, at least in Toby's universe. So we would assume that there was no Tony introduced in the Sony universe. They don't have a Tony, but maybe they do. But where did he get the tech from to make the Vulture suit if he's in a new universe where he didn't steal it? And if he did steal it, and this is not him, is there another guy that is Vulture in this universe? Like, imagine, right? Imagine you're sitting at home with the kids, with the family, and you're chilling, right? Okay. And you're just eating dinner, and then you're like, "It's good. Thank you, wife. How you doing, daughter? Oh, how was high school? Oh, very good." Then you see a man known as Adrian Toombs found in prison, but he was never meant to be in prison. Is there another Adrian Toombs? Like, hey, that ain't me. Who that is? Hey, we should do something about that. That's identity theft. Who's that? I'm not in jail. I'm right here. Like, that's a conversation that we need to fucking have. And if he knows that Spider-Man is his enemy, fine. But he also knows he's Spider-Man, not time travel fuck up your timeline, man. So I don't know why he was like, Spider-Man, I know something about him had to put me here. And it's like, that's a stretch. That's an end of Space Jam, last second shot Michael Jordan stretch.
Well, it doesn't fucking matter, because you know what? This movie is not getting a fucking sequel, okay? It's not getting a sequel.
So you're saying this Vulture follow-up is never happening?
This Vulture follow-up is never happening, because if this Vulture follow-up were to happen, that means Vulture is out of the MCU, which means they wouldn't be able to use him for like future Spider-Man movies or anything of the like, which, I don't know, considering Michael Keaton, maybe they don't plan to, but it's such a weird concept in general that...
Well, it's weird because it kind of made it seem like they wrote him out of the MCU, and it was like, yeah, but Happy's there. That's weird.
It doesn't fucking matter. It just doesn't matter. Like that's just it. At this point, it doesn't matter. Like, you can watch that scene and be like, wow, they really had some weird ass plans, and then do something else with your life, because this movie is forgettable. And that scene is the only thing that's going to be memorable about this movie. And when you take 2 seconds, time
to build the suit? Correct me if I'm wrong. Adrian Toombs didn't even build the original suit. He had one of his homies build it for him, right?
Yeah, a man who, at all intents and purposes, is the Tinkerer.
So it was like, like, how did he get this suit if he's not even in the world where he built the fucking suit?
Well, you don't ask those questions.
I think the fuck we do. Because it's not like Venom. Because in Venom, he got snapped to the other place, then put back. Toombs never got put to the place. He was just in the place he was supposed to be. Then he got put somewhere else, because he even exclaims, well, I hope this prison is better than the last one. And he just let him leave. So I don't know. Like, when he goes home, does he not see another one of him there?
Do you even think he went home?
Hey, where'd he get the suit from?
I don't know. The street.
He just found it in the middle of the street. Okay. You know what? Given the consistency of some of the things that have been written in theaters, I would believe it. But enough about mid movies that are bad. We can talk about the Sonic movie. Sonic movie is actually pretty good. I know, coming from me, that's a shocker. It was actually did everything that it needed to do to be a Sonic movie. However, spoilers from this point on. If you're not interested in spoilers, we want to thank you for watching yet another episode of the Clout.WAV podcast. And we will see you guys next week when we talk about plenty of other stuff that will be determined on that day. Now, for those of you who do want to hear some of the spoilers, here we go. So Jim Carrey announced that he is going to be retiring from acting, so he will not be reprising his role in this movie or any others, which is interesting because at the ending of this movie, his character, for all intents and purposes, gets kicked off of a machine, buried in debris. So technically, you could say he's dead, but he's not dead. It's ambiguous. So they can go either one of two routes. They can recast him and just say, all the shrapnel disfigured my face and I had to surgically repair it and I made it better. You know, some carny ass line that they could do, but you could basically just say, yeah, I had a freak accident, had to change who I was, fake identity, live off the grid until I can recoup and get ready to, you know, get back to it, because the gun soldiers announced that, yes, they seized his lab and they have his assets and blah, blah, blah. So, you know, he would have to live under an assumed name and become a different person. So if you want to recast him, perfect way to do it. It's already written in stone that you can do that. If Carrey decides he wants to come out of retirement for this movie for whatever reason, be weird that a Sonic movie gets him back of all things. But, you know, weirder things have happened in Hollywood. Mm-hmm. Never say never. But like, if he wants to come back, then he still has the doors open for that. The post-credit scene is exactly what you think it is. And no, if you're thinking Metal Sonic, it's the other thing you think it is. Yes, they're going straight past Sonic CD and Sonic 3. They're going straight past Sonic Adventure 1. And they're jumping right into Adventure 2 because it's Shadow the Hedgehog's time, baby. And my theater went absolutely fucking nuclear category 5 hurricane gale force screaming when that man popped up in that capsule. Which is weird because there's a line of dialogue in the movie where the dude who works for Gunn goes, yeah, that's right. We just built this new task force. You know, it's anti-Eggman and anti-extraterrestrial, blah, blah, blah. And he said that he made it seem like it was a new thing that they just made, right? Okay, cool. But at the end of the movie, during the post-credit scene where they reveal Shadow, they said, when we seized Eggman's assets, we actually looked into our own files and we found that some of our files go back 50 years. I was like, but you're a new agency. Why do you have files that go back 50 years? That doesn't make sense. New and 50. That's not. You see, that's not how that works, pal.
We weren't always Gun. You know, before we used
Noir.
Yep.
We were Knife.
we used to be Knife, and then we were Bat. You know, but you know, Gun seems like the best name for us now. So
yeah, with our minimalistic logo, big capital G with a scope on it. But anyways, so yeah, there's an underground secret bunker, which was weird because it's like, so if Eggman had these files that y'all were supposed to have, I don't see how he had any issues at all with anything that you guys ever did. I mean, don't get me wrong, he circumvented a lot of things that they did, but it's just like, I feel like he should be able to blackmail everything that y'all did and just fuck y'all up from the top without even needing to get the Master Emerald. And Sonic aside, I'm surprised he even needed Knuckles. If he knew that this fucking thing was down there, why the fuck didn't he just go down there and figure out what Project Shadow was? It just seems like something that would have been very easy for him to do if he had the specs. And it's like, yeah, I know his grandfather worked Project Shadow, blah, 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 blah. But once again, this is a movie. We don't know how the lore is going to work. But I always thought it was weird that it was his grandfather, because 50 years, he has to have a father during that time that did something. But we like never talk about him. We don't ever really hear about him. It just went from grandfather directly to grandson. But I digress. I just want to know, is Maria going to be involved in Shadow's story, or are we going to get the Shadow who like doesn't talk about Maria at all and is just all gung-ho on whatever his mission is, and then he's just going to get random migraines throughout the movie like, who is this girl talking to me? Ah! But I'm calling it now. This is the plot of the Sonic third movie. Shadow's going to wake up, and the gun soldiers are like, hey, you need to stop this guy, Sonic the Hedgehog. And they're going to get the data from the fights that they have to build Mecha Sonic or Metal Sonic, either or, pick your poison. But Metal Sonic is going to get too powerful. And now Shadow and Sonic and Knuckles and Tails all have to team up. It's going to be a Dragon Ball Z movie. Like, first Knuckles is going to run into Shadow in the wild, and they're going to fight. And then Shadow is going to beat Knuckles. Then Tails is gonna jump in. Then Sonic's gonna, and he's gonna beat them all one by one throughout the point of the movie. Then they're like, release the Mecha Sonic Protocol. That's right. The gun soldiers are gonna betray Shadow and hit him with like a shock net and be like, that's right. That's right. You thought you could, we only trust machines. We don't trust you freaks and weirdos. And then that's when Shadow's going to have one of those flashbacks. The humans, no, they were the ones who did this to me. They did it to Maria. And then that's when he's going to go fucking nuclear and just start, bodying everybody. And then, Mecha Sonic's going to go crazy. And yeah. Don't worry, give them a chance to be happy. And, the bullshit happens. And that's my prediction on that movie. Will it be wrong? I sure fucking hope so, because what I just said sounds like absolute dog fart. But when you lose Jim Carrey, who was kind of the fucking anchor, like he was kind of the MVP of this shit, not gonna lie. And I don't mean he was necessarily the best character. I mean, like, he was somebody who turned every trailer into clickbait. He put a lot of those asses in seats. And in this game, he turned whatever variant of his Eggman on 100,000. If you thought he was hamming it up in the first movie, you seen nothing. That was just the tip of that deal iceberg. This is where he gets into the real ham. This is a whole Thanksgiving feast right here of ham. There's a part where he turns his left leg into an electric guitar. And that is as literal as you think it is, by the way. And yeah, like, once again, the movie, great kids movie. If you got any kids, little cousins, nieces, nephews, make sure they go see this film. It's definitely one of the few things that Sonic actually has going for them, because it's not the games. It is most certainly not the games. But this right here is pretty good. I don't know what they're going to do with a third movie. I don't know if you've seen the movie yet, but it's pretty good. I would recommend it.
Yeah, I'd recommend everyone see the movie.
But there's one scene in there that there's a dance battle scene that goes on for like 15 minutes, and it's like, god damn, it's the longest 15 minutes in cinema, bro.
Look, man, it's for Sonic fans and kids, so look, I expect
I got it. I get it. But it was just like, man, this shit ain't over yet. I used that for my bathroom break. It was strategically placed in the middle of the film. I'll be back when this shit is over. I went, took a nice piss, washed my hands, fucking out of paper towels. So I had to go and use the fucking air dryer, which takes forever because it was one of the ones that blow upwards, not down. Yeah, my thoughts as well. And I got there, went to the concession stand, got a soda, got my pretzel bites, got back, and they were still dancing, bro. A lot happened in my life, and they were still dancing. So that was the only scene where I missed. So if there's any like crazy Easter eggs during that segment, then I missed it, which means it was probably the Sonic Adventure pose they showed in the trailer. Yes, he does the Sonic Adventure box art pose. Yes, the stupid hand through the nutsack fucking finger. Yes, sir. Apparently that is in the movie at some point, but ultimately, good movie. And that's really all I got for this week. I mean, what you got anything that you want to chime in on there, Buckaroo?
No. That's about it.
No videos to plug, no streams. What you working on, man?
I'm working on video. It's not out yet. I mean, it's not that it needs to be edited. Of course, you can always follow me at twitch.tv/subtle fraudulence for the streams. I'm trying to like become more consistent with that. And I have like a long list of things that I need to like watch. I still need to figure out what the next like long playthrough is going to be. Like what's the next game I'm really going to focus on?
Because you finished your Final Fantasy stuff, right?
Yep, I finished Final Fantasy, and I'm not going to play Final Fantasy X2 because that game sucks donkey penis. Maybe I'll play Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk, I can go back to Tomb Raider. I can, there are a lot of choices here. So we'll see how that goes. But I will find something soon. And, fighting games will be sprinkled in there. It's mainly going to be Guilty Gear because Street Fighter V on PlayStation Online is absolute dog shit. I tried it the other day off stream, and dog shit. Absolute horrible experience. I was like, I can't believe that people do this. So yeah. Besides that, can't really think of anything else. Yeah. Atlanta, had a new episode today. Always praise that. Right-wing conservative peoples were trying to convince everyone that somehow Disney is grooming kids by saying stuff about like including LGBTQ plus representation in their movies. But then they also said, how dare they try to indoctrinate our children? You know what? Us at the Daily Wire, we've decided that we're going to launch our own content for kids that is totally not going to be indoctrination. Look at PragerU Kids for an example of the kind of content that we're going to create.
That was weird to me when I found out that you were telling me the pundits were going to come out here and hit us with it'd be cool, kids content. And it's like, excuse me?
Very odd during a time where they're also trying to push legislation to allow grown-ass men to marry kids. So watch out for these niggas. like just watch out for them, because that shit is kind of weird.
Big oof. But anyways, we appreciate you guys for joining us, and I will catch you guys next time. Be safe. I'm out. Pa-chow. Pa-chow.